Good afternoon. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show, Red Pill Edition. My name is Leon Jones. And this afternoon, I'm going to get into something that has taken place in another city of Colorado. Now, I know a couple of YouTubers, Z Rubicon and Karen Kennedy, live out in Colorado, so they may have already talked about this topic. And the topic that I'm going to talk about today is topless women win big in Colorado. Topless women win big in Colorado. Now, Colorado becomes now the sixth state that allows women to go topless. Now, I'm going to read you an article from NBC.com by Peter Williams, and I'll leave the link to this article at the bottom of my video in the comments section. So, this article was taking place September 19th, 2019. Now, Fort Collins, Colorado has decided it's not worth the money to fight for its ordinance banning women from appearing topless in public. Now, it's a victory for Free the Nipple, which is a global movement seeking equal treatment for women. Now, in February, when it was cold enough that few want to go topless in the community north of Denver, the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals upheld a federal judge's conclusion that the law amounted to unconstitutional discrimination. It was based on negative stereotypes depicting women's breasts, but not men's breasts as sex objects, the court concluded. Now, the ruling rejected the city's concern that striking down the ordinance would lead women parading in front of elementary schools or swimming topless in the public pool. Now, the nearby communities of Boulder and Denver allowed toplessness, but there was no evidence of any harmful fallout in those cities, the court said. Now, Fort Collins decided this month not to appeal the decision, having spent more than $300,000 defending the law. And now the city has formally removed the law from its public nudity statutes. Now, the prohibition on public exposure of breasts by women and girls over 10 years old is now gone from the city code as of this week. Now, with no guarantee of success in the Supreme Court, the city council concluded that the money was just better spent on other city priorities, said Tyler Marr, a Fort Collins government spokesman. Now, this decision not to fight the ban effectively makes it legal for women to go topless in 6 states that fall under the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. And the 6 states are Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, Kansas, New Mexico, and Oklahoma. Now, I'm surprised that Oklahoma, Kansas, Wyoming, and Utah would go for this because they are extremely conservative states. Now, New Mexico and Colorado, it's not surprising to me. Now, most other courts have rejected equal protection challenges to ban on female toplessness, as the 10th Circuit acknowledges in its February ruling, saying ours is the minority viewpoint. But the ruling said the trend has been toward requiring more, not less, judicial scrutiny when asserted physical differences are raised to justify gender-based discrimination. Now, a challenge to a local topless ban in New Hampshire is now pending before the U.S. Supreme Court, brought by 3 women who appeared topless at a lakeside beach. Now, the Supreme Court acknowledged that the law threatens men and women differently, but it said public exposure of the female breast almost invariably conveys sexual overtones. Now, the Supreme Court, of course, will announce this later. They will hear the case. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. You got a lot of perverts out here, and let's be honest. Men's breasts aren't taken in the same connotation that women's breasts are. Let's have some common sense here. And see, again, you have a number of feminists out here who think they can do everything that a man can do, and they can't. In fact, this third wave of feminism really has taken the feminine out of women. Women today want to be exactly like men. They want to do everything that men want to do, even if they don't work for it. They want to have sex like men. I mean, it's about being like a man. Now, to me, all this is penis envy. I don't care what anybody says. Men and women are not equal, they are different. You don't see us going out there with movements like this. It takes too much time, it makes too much sense. But you have a lot of whiny women out here who believe that they are oppressed. Women today aren't oppressed. And what's going to happen is you're going to open the door for pedophiles. I mean, 10-year-old girls. You got a lot of child predators online now. So now what they're saying is, we can go to Colorado, Montana, we can go to Utah, New Mexico, Oklahoma. We can go to these states. And now we can prey on little girls. And you got a lot of guys who are probably loving this right now. But if you're going to make women going topless legal, why don't you make pedophilia legal now? It's happening. You see, the funny thing about it, when you have these feminists out here who don't know anything, they think they are winning. They're not winning. It just shows you how women are setting themselves back. Because you got women today who don't care about themselves. And they think going topless is going to make them feel better. You have women out there with titties the size of basketballs. Nobody wants to see them jiggling around. You got a number of them today who don't even wear bras at all. But in the long run, the door is going to be open for more sexual perverts. Because as a man, what do you think we're going to do when we see some breasts jiggling? We're going to want to touch them. We're going to look at them. See, the Me Too movement and all these feminists out here, they're very impulsive. They have such penis envy for all men out here, but they don't make any sense with what they do. Women are not men. They weren't designed to be men. Again, is there a movement for us going out there saying, well, let's have something so we can get pregnant? That would be the dumbest idea, because you can't defy biology. And I'm sorry, as a man, we know what the breasts are used for. They're supposed to be for feeding babies. But unfortunately, breasts have been objectified for sex. I didn't make this up. It's true. Now, at the end of the day, I think it's immoral. You have a number of millennials and some Gen Xers out here who don't know any better. I mean, if you look at everything that's going on in the United States, it's all based on feelings, not based on any type of logic. And now what's going to happen, the door is going to open up for pedophilia of something real strange. We've already had gay marriage. What else could happen? And see, what these liberals want in today's culture, they want a socialist country. But they want a libertine society to where they want to do what they want. They want their policies. They don't want tradition. Because tradition is discriminatory. See, yes, do men go out there with their tops off? Yes. It's always been like that. But at the end of the day, as I simply told you, men and women are different. This makes no sense. Now, I hope it goes to the Supreme Court. The case, and I do remember that case that took place in New Hampshire. I believe Kaya Sinclair. She stood topless on a Hampton beach in Hampton, New Hampshire in 2015. And what happened then, I think, because of this law, now you got 3 New Hampshire women asking the U.S. Supreme Court to declare a city ordinance banning women from appearing topless. They say that violates the Constitution by treating men and women differently. Well, it's October. Now, that case in New Hampshire, the Supreme Court is going to hear that case in New Hampshire. So, what if New Hampshire wins? That's going to open up the door for other states like Maine and Rhode Island. And you know, the Northeast, and I'm from Maryland, those are nothing but liberal states. High tax states to live in. But nevertheless, when it comes to doing what you want to do, I know all the states in the Northeast, they're going to be watching New Hampshire. Now, again, I'm just so surprised that you would put a Utah in there. Now, Utah is a Mormon state. And the Big Sky State, Montana, Oklahoma, Kansas, those are definitely red states. But, okay, Montana, you don't have a large population in Montana. You really don't have a large population in Utah, except maybe Ogden, Utah, and Salt Lake City. You got a lot of mountains out there in Utah. Got a lot of them in Montana as well. Kansas is flat. It's a Midwestern state. Oklahoma is pretty flat as well. But again, regardless of which state it's coming from, these liberals, these feminist Marxists who've been brainwashed by the education system, by the media, by religion, by corporations, and by government, they want to utilize their power to knock down everything traditional. And again, ladies, regardless of what you say, you're not men. We're not women. But a number of you feminists out there, you accept the man in the dress because you believe that it's equality. We do not live in an egalitarian society. And that's the problem I have with a lot of feminism. It does not base anything off of reality. And a lot of women are sheep. It's like one goes in the slaughterhouse, doesn't come out, the other goes right behind them. They don't think. Women are generally followers. They do not research anything. This is what's happening in Colorado. I mean, 10-year-old girls. I'm going to tell you, this law, of course, 2 cities in Colorado said there's no problem with it, not as of yet, or it hasn't been reported. Because, liberals, they don't like reporting anything that's going to make them look bad, so they like to hide it under the rug. It's only what conservatives do. Now, I don't mean to bring politics into it, but I believe that this law is terrible. Next thing you know, a number of women are going to be saying, well, we're going to go out naked. Men, you got to wisen up. You got to get some people in power who got some sense. The problem with the government, it's run by a number of beta males. And these beta males are married. They can't put policies in to help men out, or their wives are going to leave them. But the men in government have the power to do something. They just won't do anything. And I hate to say this, guys, all this power that women got, it's not women's fault. It's our fault. We gave it to them. And we have not realized as men the mess that we've gotten ourselves into, especially in the black community. Tell you right now, matriarchal mindset, feminist mindset has run rampant in the black community for years and years and years and years, and it has totally destroyed the black community. But guess what? Black men are too weak to do anything. And women are benefiting from it. So you think women are going to change the way things are and go back to where they feel that they've been oppressed? No. This is something I'm going to tell us, we men, it's our fault. We're accountable for this. We're responsible for this. This is why I don't do too many videos on women unless it's a behavioral issue, because you have to go to the source. Women know how to organize. They know how to be well financed, and they take an issue, they stick together, they bring it right up to the beta men. The beta men want to get reelected, and they go ahead and here you go, write it in the law. And what's happening, particularly with this impeachment, it's really about the Democrats getting themselves in power so we can have more socialists in power to really bring down this country. You got to use common sense. But again, when you got women going topless, it's going to bring out more perverts. And if you don't believe me, just watch and see. Because my old saying is, don't write a check that you can't cash, because it's going to blow up in your face. And with these feminists out here, a lot of things are blowing up in their face right now. This is why you got a lot of guys like me who are red pill, and you got MGTOW individuals, because we understand the system. Unfortunately, to all of us red pill and MGTOW men, we need to get this philosophy into the government officials so we can stop some of this nonsense. Because at the end of the day, it's just ruining our country. Again, if it's against the law to be a pedophile, then it should be against the law to go topless. Why? Because women going topless, especially young girls, they're going to get men looking at them. And it's a chance that some of these young girls are going to be raped. And you got individuals raping women in the daytime, believe it or not. But see, the feminists didn't go ahead and think about that. See, they're thinking about, well, we want to be equal to men. We want to do everything that a man wants to do, or that a man does. You can have that penis envy, but I'm sorry, you ladies didn't think this through. And the court, who's on the court? A lot of liberal judges in the California court and the Denver court. I think it's the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, or the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals out in California, and the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals in Denver. Because the next place that this is going to go, it's going to go into California. And all I'm going to tell you parents out there is, you better start talking to your children about what's going on. In fact, you parents need to get educated. Stop watching television and understand what's going on around you, because the country is collapsing around you and a lot of you don't know it. And your kids are being brainwashed by Satan out here. And Satan, that's the liberals on the left. I'm not saying Democrats. I'm talking about the liberals on the left that want to take this country and destroy it. They want to have a communist, socialist style regime to keep us all at bay. Again, you got women who envy men because we can walk around with our shirts off. First of all, we got nipples. We don't have breasts. We don't wear brassieres. Okay? We don't nurse babies. Now, if it's a problem that women are having for guys to go shirtless, then why didn't they pass some kind of bill for that, where every guy has to have his shirt on? Because a lot of these women want their breasts to show, because it's going to give a number of these women attention, and it's going to cause more women to sue men and basically change the sexual harassment laws. That could be part of it. And a lot of men need to be careful. And as a man, and I got my woman out, I wouldn't want my woman exposing her breasts in public so other people can basically ridicule her, because that's exactly what's going to happen. Again, you're going to have more child porn, because that's done a lot of damage. Got a guy who was on a Subway commercial. I believe his name was Jason. He's from my state of Indiana. He's locked up because of child porn. But now, you really going to bring out the perverts, especially ones who like young girls. And you feminists who didn't think about this, you're going to drown in your own blood. And it'll be good for you. See, when you think that you are deserving to be like another gender and you don't even understand that other gender, then the loss is going to be on you. Because it's funny with you feminists out here. When something happens to a man in a domestic violence situation, and I'm going off topic a little bit, where are you feminists? See, you feminists are only out there when it comes to everything that deals with women. But when women do something just like a man, you're not there. You hush-hush about it. Just like this white cop who shot that black man in his apartment. She gets 10 years. And the judge and the brother, who were black, hugged this woman. Now she's going to have female protection. She's not going to do 10 years. And see, when we live in a country, it's supposed to be a democratic republic. Our freedom is based on laws. Well, we really aren't free. Because if we were truly free, freedom of speech would work in every direction. Freedom of expression. And some of these women, they call it discrimination. Well, it's really the 60s term, freedom of expression. And again, I'm not blaming women for this. I'm blaming us as men. Have to go back and talk about the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. They wanted feminism because their power was threatened by men who were of the lower echelon. So they needed a buffer between them, who are the almighty powerful, and the peons. And they didn't want the peons or the pawns taking them out. You see, what you got to understand, folks, this is chess, not checkers. And at the end of the day, all my MGTOW brothers, Red Pill brothers, we have to keep the pressure on when it comes to the system. And the pressure we got to keep on. We talk about women all the time. A number of us, we need to get into the men. Because it's these men out here who are doing things like being whoremongers. Men don't need to be whoremongers. It's men out here who are creating single mothers. We have created this monstrosity. We got to blame ourselves for what's going on out here. Again, the feminists aren't very smart. And Z. Rubicon and Karen Kennedy, you got more information on what's going on out there in your state of Colorado, hey, let me know. Put it in my comment section. I just found this article and I wanted to share it because it is very important, because a lot of us are stuck on stupid. We go about our lives every day and we don't care about what goes on around us. And when it comes to legally going topless, yo, ladies, some of these individuals are your daughters. They're your neighbor's daughters. Guys, these are your daughters out here. You want some of these perverts coming after your daughters? What are you going to do? Because there's going to be some guy on the left who's a pervert. And I guarantee he's going to make pedophilia legal. He's going to find a way to do it. There's not going to be anything you can do about it. And when you make crazy policies, you don't do anything but find yourself hurt in the long run because you wrote a check that you can't cash. See, all these liberals who make these laws, they got to remember, they got kids too. And again, I have to ask you liberals out there, you got girls. What are you going to do if somebody starts looking at your girl's breast? What are you going to do if somebody starts taking pictures of your girls and posting them on Facebook, Twitter? That's going to create more hostility between men and women. You know, I'm tired of you women out here saying that because you don't have what a man has, it's discriminatory. It is not discriminatory for a man to have his shirt off and you to have your shirt on. Again, we have nipples. We do not have breasts. Okay? Now, if individuals had common sense and they understand the meaning of breast, that's one thing. But we're not France. We're not Monte Carlo. They can have beaches. And if you want to go topless, by the way, you think about it, they got nude beaches here in the United States. Why don't you join in the nudist camp? Why do you got to put yourself out there? And this is what I'm talking about when I say women don't care about themselves. They're so far into trying to be like men, they forgot how to be humble, they forgot how to be cooperative, and they forgot how to be feminine. And at the end of the day, you're not making yourself look attractive by trying to be like a man. Because men desire femininity, not masculinity. If we want to go war with somebody, we got our own men to deal with. But this, you should think about this, Colorado. You should think about it. And if it has to go to the Supreme Court, might be legal for now, but it's going to lose in the Supreme Court. We'll see how the New Hampshire case turns out. But at the end of the day, I'm just giving you information about what's happening. Because as a red pill man, you got to read. You got to understand the politics. You got to understand corporate jobs, religion, media, and education. Because these are the 5 power conferences of society that the left is dominating right now. And they try to shame you for having a dissenting view. So, at the end of the day, men and women are not equal. We live in a PC culture, but PC, all it is deception. Lying and deception is not going to defeat nature, because at the end of the day, men are always going to see women as an object of their sexual desire. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show right here on YouTube. If you like what I just presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. Also, subscribe to my new channel, The Mind of STEM, where I give you a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. I take you out in the field to show you what I do, and I narrate as I do the task out in the field, from construction to inspection. The channel is already up, and by the way, I believe this is my 500th video. Thank you for staying with me, my main subscribers who've stood with me since 2016. But again, understand what's going on out here, because we have a civil war that's brewing in our country, and we got too many people asleep at the wheel. You can also catch my blog talk radio show. I did one today on the Shit Test Encyclopedia. I call it the BS Games of Dating. That's already uploaded, because if you can't find my blog talk radio shows, they're also on YouTube. The link is at the bottom of my YouTube channel. Of course, it's on Facebook and Twitter. Both my channels, the 401 Talk Zone Radio Show, is also on Facebook and Twitter. Because the old saying that the United Negro College Fund used to say, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Again, you like what I just presented? Please comment, share, and subscribe, because information is power. And again, that concludes this video. Just want to say God bless you. Once again, my name is Leon Jones. I'm out.